Hello, welcome everyone to the fourth week of the MOOC on Bioinformatics Essentials. So, in this week, we'll learn about modern trends and ethics, module 4.1. In this week, we'll cover basically four modules. So, first module is KEGG pathways. This was a little bit remaining part in the previous weeks, so I am covering it in this week. So, from genes to biological pathways, in previous weeks, learners worked primarily with the sequences, similarity, alignment, functional notations. But identifying a gene or protein is only part of the biological story. Now, the next question is, what does this gene or protein actually do within the cell? Biological molecules rarely work in isolation. So, the simple dogma is genes encode proteins. Proteins participate in reactions and complexes, and these reactions from interconnected biological pathways. So, basically, what happens that is, I have represented it using one flow chart. DNA. In DNA, there are some genes. One gene creates one specific RNA. Due to this mRNA, we create protein. Then protein works in some biochemical function, and this biochemical function is the part of any pathway, and this pathway is the part of cellular or biological process. So the simple thing is that, so what is the biological pathway? A biological pathway is a series of connected molecular events that contribute to a biological function or cellular process. So basically these are the event, or the this is the series that connects molecular events, and which events will contribute to the biological function. So basically the metabolism involves multiple reactions. Here I have given one example: molecule A gets converted to molecule B with the enzyme 1, then molecule B gets converted into molecule C enzyme 2. So you can see this reaction here. So each enzyme may be encoded by a different gene. Therefore, studying individual genes is often insufficient to understand the complete biological process. So now what is the KEGG? Okay. So KEGG is the short form of Kyoto Encyclopedia of Genes and Genomes. So it's a major resource for understanding biological systems through molecular pathways and related biological information. So we'll visit this KEGG database in this week's demonstration session. So what is the KEGG? KEGG connects information about genes, proteins, enzymes, metabolic reactions, biological pathways, diseases, organism, and this information is available on their database. So why these pathways are useful? Now suppose we have the experiment, okay, and we are identifying several genes, and that genes are significantly changed. Now list is gene A, gene B, gene C, gene D, gene E. Now it is difficult to interpret biological, means why this gene A work, why this gene B works. So, but if we do the pathway analysis, then we can find out these genes may be related with any metabolic pathway named as X. So actually we can ask the question like, is a particular biological pathway associated with the observed changes or not? Now here, actually what we have to do in this particular regarding this cake, see, any gene or any protein is associated with any biological function. Now how they are associated with this biological function, that we'll get to know after checking in which biological pathway or biochemical pathway this protein is involved. Okay, So here once again I have shown the data, experimental data, then we identify the genes and proteins, then we do the functional notation, then we map this in the cake, and then we find identify associated pathways, and then we can do the biological interpretation. So thank you for this video. Okay, and we'll meet in the demo session. Thank you.